You guys want to hear a Hafez? It's very short.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only sin I know.
Oh.
If someone sits with me and we talk about the beloved, if I cannot give his heart comfort, if I cannot make him feel better about himself and this world, then Hafiz, quickly run to the mosque and pray, for you have just committed the only sin I know.
Wow.
Again?
Say that again. Say it again. Yeah.
It's called the only sin I know. If someone sits with me and we talk about the beloved, if I cannot give his heart comfort, if I cannot make him feel better about himself and this world, then Hafiz, quickly run to the mosque and pray, for you have just committed the only sin I know.
Wow. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Anybody else?
Oh, here's one. To someone who complained about Baba frequently changing his plans, Baba said, I never make plans. I never change plans. It is all one never-ending plan to make you realize there is no plan. I'll read that one.
Wonderful.
Oh, good. To someone who complained about Baba frequently changing his plans, he said, I never make plans. I never change plans. It is all one never-ending plan to make you realize there is no plan.
In reference to plans, this is my favorite one. Please remember this. Remember this, Jeff. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Okay.
Yeah, Baba.
Only Baba can come up with those beautiful messages. Wow.
Here's another one from Baba.
Yeah.
To an early woman follower, Baba said, I am everywhere. But how can we know that? She asked. Handing her a fresh rose, Baba replied, can you see its fragrance? As the fragrance is hidden in the rose, in the same way, my presence is hidden in every heart, unseen and imperceptible. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Here's another one from Baba. You're probably familiar with it. When everything goes wrong, this is Baba. Whenever everything goes wrong, the mind becomes helpless and it has to rely entirely on the heart. These are the moments when you resign to my will and so rely solely on my help. When you leave all to me, I dare not, care not, and you are relieved from your predicament. Is that clear there?
Wonderful. Jai Baba.
Yeah.
I think we should feel helpless all the time.
Yeah.
Vulnerability.
Whoops. Is that Rakesh?
Oh, that was Dinesh.
Ah.
Let's see.
Yeah, beautiful.
Well.
Oh, here's one. You know, we think that, you know, say when we get realized, we're going to be out of this mess. But Baba is eternally in this mess. In other words, he doesn't get to escape. We're in it a long time, but we do eventually escape. So this is what Baba says. I wrote down the date because I didn't think people would necessarily believe this quote. is from Guru Prasad in 25th of July 1960. Baba says, the same theater, the same show, the same actors, 24 hours a day, eternally. And I have to not only keep awake, but smile and clap. Those are Baba's words. I'll read it again. This is Baba, kind of telling you where, what his experience is. The same theater, the same show, the same actors, 24 hours a day, eternally. And I have to not only keep awake, but smile and clap.
Baba really said that?
Wonderful.
Heard that. Never
That's a
heard
really great
Poor
quote.
Baba.
I know, really.
Okay,
Seriously.
I got one. I got one.
Good.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
got
Yeah.
one quote. This is okay. Here, there you go. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Belief, trust. What? Belief, trust, and faith are all illusory phenomena if not based on conviction through personal experience. So don't trouble to believe in ignorance, and do not also bother about believing in me. Be prepared to believe in yourself, of being able to long for truth. Then we will know truth in its pure and infinite simplicity. Meher Baba.
You know, Lanita, you won't believe
So
it.
you got that, folks?
Yeah. You know, Lanita, you won't believe it, but I went into Lord Mayhair last night. Out of thousands and thousands of pages, I went to that very quote. I can't believe it.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
That's Lord Meher, page
1937.
1883.
Yeah,
Wow, Jeff.
unbelievable. Yeah,
And I never read this Baba's quote here. Don't
Yeah.
believe in me, believe in yourself.
yeah,
You know, that's a new thing for me.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, hey, Jake.
Hi.
Hey,
Name of the
Jake.
Jake.
And we got
Nice.
BJ and Dinesh.
Ganesh.
Yeah, Baba.
I am. And Priya was here. Yeah, Priya was here a while ago. Dinku is around.
Dink is here, yeah.
Where is Dinku?
Lenita.
Oh,
Lenita.
Jai.
What's the
Who's
talking
talking?
word again? Lenny, me.
Priya is
Betty.
here. Priya is here.
Oh. What's your page number, Lord Mayhair,
It's
again?
1883. I think it is, I don't maybe, yeah. LordMehair.org.
Ah,
I think
good.
it's online. This is
Yeah.
online. Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same as the books. No, I have no idea because
Mhm.
I'm getting for the calendar.
Anita,
Not from
you're
the
breaking
book.
up a little bit. You got to pay for the Wi-Fi in your building.
So,
Jeff,
VJ,
Jeff, what's the source of
that's
your
how you
quote?
pronounce
Okay, what's that?
The 24-hour quote.
sorry.
Where is that from?
I will tell you.
Well, you know, but if you're not, I asked for my.
That quote, I
Yeah.
can tell you the year and date,
Okay, great.
but no page number.
All right.
Ha.
Would you mind saying it one more
Yeah.
time?
Okay. This Jake, I don't know if Jake was here. I said, Baba You know, we get, after realization, we're out of this mess. But Baba is here eternally. He can't get out of this. He and Mara, I think, are stuck. So, this is what Baba said. And Betty, this is 25th of July, 1960, in Guru Prasad.
Okay.
Baba said, the same theater, the same show, the same actors, 24 hours a day, eternally. And I have to not only keep awake, but smile and clap. That's a very
Beautiful.
that's a very tolerant audience.
Amazing.
Yeah. But here's one. This is one. If you want to get like, what can I say? The Mandali's experience. This is what Mani said. Wrote. I prayed to you for strength to carry out your work. You gave me weakness, so I would depend on you.
That's a beauty.
I prayed to you for strength to carry out your work. You gave me weakness, so I would depend on you.
Wow.
Imagine, you know, side by side with Baba her whole life. And that's what how she describes her experience.
Fabulous, Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah. Jake, you got anything rattling around over there in the...
I'm working on it.
Okay, good.
I'll let you know when I stir something up.
Yeah. What about Priya? You anything? You brought some things up last time, huh?
Not yet. I had something. You took it away. Your quotes took that away.
What about VJ?
Hi. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Well, this morning I was doing my prayers, and while prayers I was, the thought comes that reverence and obedience. That I just, I remember. Do you know, Jeff, that story of Vishnu Master, Baba asking him to bring something, and so it was outside sunny, and village, Arangaon village,
yeah,
if I'm not forgetting.
Yeah.
So Baba gave him his chappals. I say, your feet are bare feet, and take it and go and bring from Rao Sahib. And Vishnu said, no, Baba, how can I take your chappals? And Baba is telling, no, take my chappals. And then Baba insisted. And then Baba said, my reverence, you revere, you have reverence in your mind, but my obedience is more important. Because this reverence to God is also a barrier in the love. This age-old means we revere the God and keep him separately from us. But love, obedience is more important. And whenever Master asks you to do whatever, that is the of great worth. So when I say to you, take my chappals, so wear it. So wear my chappals.
Yeah, good. I know Vishnu said, but I revere your chapels. And Baba said, you revere my chapels more than you revere my obeying me, right? Oh, Ganesh is here. He's out on probation again.
Come on. Yes. I have something to share here.
Yeah.
That kind of ties into the quote you shared, Jeff, from Lord Mayhair, about the Baba being the audience. And this is also from Lord Mayhair on June 9th from 1926. Baba commented on the difference between, the differences between different kinds of followers. The number of my devotees is great, but the number of my disciples is much less. The devotees seek the pleasure of his devotion, of his own devotion, while the disciples' only duty is to obey the commands of the master, which is much more difficult. Devotees select their own master and surrender to him. A master selects his own disciples. Therefore, many can become devotees, but only a few can become disciples. And what I like about what I like about this is, in Baba coming and being the audience, he's choosing, he's choosing those to be around him. And so for all of us, it's no mistake that we are around him. Yes, you can view the, Baba being the audience is kind of like a burden to Baba, but, he has chosen us, the disciples to be with him. It's no mistake. So I like that perspective.
Yeah.
If you can call us disciples. I don't know if he's using the term loosely to mean like Baba lovers in general, or if he specifically means Mandali, but I took it as Baba lovers in general.
Yeah. No, I would say that. I mean, Baba's asking us to obey him, but really he's asking us to obey our deeper self, the deeper part of ourself. I mean, he's not asking us, he doesn't need our obedience. Not really. We need to obey the deeper love that's within us, which Baba is getting us to do by hook or crook.
Yeah.
You might find this interesting. It was a kind of turning point in my work at the center. I found myself, there's the long building of the original kitchen and the Lakeview kitchen, and it has many, many windows, probably about close to 30 windows, and then some of those windows have individual panes. And one day, at the end of the day, I was I was cleaning the windows, like one window down, 29 left. two windows completed, 28 left. I was, going through this long, tedious thing of doing one window after another. And then something flashed into me and said, is this entertaining to Baba? The way I'm doing this, the way I'm cleaning his windows? And I said, no, this isn't entertaining to Baba. I've got to do it in such a way, because he has to watch me as he has to watch everybody. I got to do it in a way that's entertaining. You can imagine like at a mall where there's some guy that's looking at all of these cameras, all these, camera angles on the mall parking lot, and all day. And what if somebody out in the parking lot did a little dance, might entertain the guy. So, I mean, that kind of changed my approach to work. I mean, Baba has to watch me all day, so let's make it fun for him.
You're right, Jeff.
So that changed my whole approach to work way back in the 70s. So I don't know if that makes sense, but it kind of goes with that quote.
You make sense. That's I feel 100% right.
Yeah.
He watches us every moment.
Yeah. And like I say, if we can kind of make it a little more entertaining for him rather than, because I was just going through a kind of a checklist. Well, I got that window done. Now the next window done, and the next window done. I mean, totally boring to Baba.
So how did you change cleaning the windows, Jeff?
Well, I mean, sometimes I would get some kids to come along and we would have fun cleaning the windows, or somebody where you'd kind of have some conversation about Baba while doing the windows at the same time. They're very inventive ways to make it entertaining. Or just even thinking of him while you're doing it, instead of just doing the job and getting it done, you know. And here's another thing that you might find interesting. Someone wanted me to share this on this late night chat. On one of my trips to India, I started out by plane from Myrtle Beach, and I was determined to say Baba's name inwardly the entire time. So on the plane over and during the whole month in India, in all my spare time, I was saying, you know, Baba, Baba. It was sometimes with the in-breath and out-breath the entire time. And then on the last day, when I was to leave, Baba woke me up at 3 in the morning, and he flashed this to me. He said, all these, I'm putting into English, he said, all these weeks, you've been saying my name so faithfully, but you seem to forget. I'm here listening. In other words, you know, if you're in a crowd, Jake, and I in a crowd of people, and I say, "Hey, Jake, I'm going to get your attention." And when we say Baba's name, we are getting his attention. But I was kind of forgetting. I was emanating Baba's name, but I wasn't really. I mean, I'm saying Baba's name, and that's getting his attention, and I should be mindful of that. That's what Baba was saying.
So what you're saying is like you weren't receiving then his attention. You kept
well,
on.
I was getting his attention, but I wasn't being aware of the fact that saying his name draws his attention.
Right. That's what I mean. That you weren't not aware that he was giving you his attention.
Yeah, and he's saying, you know, you seem to forget. I'm here listening. I mean, it was worth the entire trip.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever you say Baba's name, even though he's here, you get his attention in a special way.
Yeah, I like that picture because for me it's very easy for me to discredit the effects of my focus on Baba. You know, who am I for Baba to pay attention to from me saying his name or trying to focus on him. So I appreciate that perspective.
And you know what Erich would say, who am I to get this attention? Erich would turn it around. Who are you not to get that attention?
Yeah.
He always turned it around. Who are you not to get that attention?
Yeah. Yeah, I certainly, I get that. I certainly understand that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's a great journey and discovery.
Yeah.
Prakashji, I sent him, Prakashji, a copy of Baba's letter to Mary and Will Beckett. That was in 30s. And that end of the letter says, it is my suffering when you don't respond to my love. So that's really very touching.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Sorry, say that again, Vijay. He says you.
When you don't respond to my love, I suffer.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what does that mean to respond to Baba's love? Like what is a practical?
See, he loves us. He has picked us and he loves us. And he wants to draw his attention. And so we have to think about him. We have to remember him. Well, that's at least we can do all the time. and we should not ignore him. He doesn't like our indifference. So we have to remember him all the time and ask his attention.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff.
Hello, what?
I mean, I was thinking about what you just said about cleaning windows and pleasing Baba, or entertaining Baba. That's a word you used.
Yeah.
Now, and otherwise, it'll be boring for Baba, you said. I was thinking, I mean, why did he choose to entertain him as opposed to pleasing him? I mean, you know, these are all the words ultimately. But I was just wondering what made you think that that would be entertaining to Baba as opposed to pleasing Baba. I mean, you know.
Well, I mean, entertaining Baba is definitely going to please Baba. I mean, that's one form of pleasing Baba. I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will quote an instance. I was sitting in front of Baba, and it was in 1960, and Baba was asking those lovers to sing a song. And so my father sang a song, then somebody sang a song, and Deshmukh was asked. So then Deshmukh also immediately started singing, and Baba started laughing. So there were good singers also in the room. But Baba enjoyed Deshmukh's song, even though Deshmukh is not a singer. But Baba laughed and laughed and laughed. So you see, who can please Baba? We have to do our act, but Baba is pleased with Deshmukh. So that's one good example.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah, it isn't necessarily quality.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
But I do. I mean, what I gathered from the Mandali, Baba is with us and enjoys our company.
Yeah. Oh yes.
And
sure.
we need to try harder to enjoy his company. Well, did I read that one? Oh, here's a quote. Another quote from Mani. This is Mani Baba's sister. It is important for each of us who love Baba to be with Baba. Baba is with us every second, but it becomes complete when we are with him. That's Mani said that. It is important for each of us who love Baba to be with Baba. Baba is with us every second, but it becomes complete when we are with him, meaning when our attention is on him.
Yeah, I really love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And it's almost, you know, I think it also, I see it as being directly connected to what you were sharing with the windows, you know. Well, I suppose.
Yeah, you're acknowledging that he's there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like that very much. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah. It's more human and natural than we might think.
Yeah.
I would say less mystical and more kind of just deeply human.
Yeah, and I really,
as above, Eric used to say, as above, so below.
As above, so below. What, meaning, as Baba does, we do.
Yeah, what Baba wants is what down here. He likes to be loved, and we down here like to be loved.
Uh-huh.
We get it from him.
Yeah, I like how
Khak Sahib, the poet Khak Sahib from Pakistan. So he wrote a ghazal to Baba at Mahabaleshwar. It was read, and one of the stanza is in that, "तूने अपना जमाले खुदारा शक्ल इंसान में आके देख लिया." you had to take human form and descend on earth to see your own beauty and glory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Baba.
Yeah. You had to take human form and descend on earth to see your own beauty and glory. तूने अपना जमाले खुद आरा शक्ल इंसान में आके देख लिया.
Yeah. Beautiful. Ganesh, you got anything there? I mean, you had to
If we
work
are,
the
yeah,
last couple
Jai
of days.
Baba,
Oh,
Yes, that was
Ganesh, yeah.
if
Ganesh.
we are remembering ourselves, then we are with Baba.
Wait.
If we are in presence, remembering ourselves, then we are with Baba.
Now, I didn't quite, Dinesh, I'm not quite getting the question or the statement.
It is a statement. I want your experience. If we are remembering ourselves, we are remembering Baba.
Yeah, if we remember ourselves at the deepest level, we are remembering Baba because Baba, that's where Baba lives in us.
Or if we are in presence, Krishna is in presence, we are with Baba.
Yeah. I might not have the best sound system on my computer. So
This is like, so this reminds like what you are when you're saying about the window incident. Actually, this reminds of that Darwin Shaw's famous like that experience, like when the Mayor House was being built at Myrtle Beach. He used to stand near a tree thinking of Baba, and then when Baba came to US and visited the center, he went to the tree, acknowledged that he knew that Darwin used to stand there and think of him. So Baba
yeah,
and then looks at Darwin and gives a kind of acknowledgement. Yes, I know that you were
yeah,
thinking of me.
yeah. I mean, it's a little different from that, but that's the whole meaning of it. But what's interesting is that when Darwin Shaw was working at the center back in, well, from the early days, but also Baba had him come in 1948 to help in the development of the center. And at the end of each workday, he would go over to where Baba's house was going to be built. It was still just kind of staked out. And he would sit on a bluff and look toward India. And he felt at the end of the day, he felt that Baba was kind of there. He felt Baba's presence, but he wasn't 100% certain, that Baba was there. I mean, he felt strongly. But then, so that was his habit for a whole year. And then 2 years later, Baba came to Myrtle Beach in 1952. And one day he called the Shaw family over to his house. And when they got there, Baba was at the screen door. He opened it and let each one in. And as Darwin was the last one, as he's going up the steps, Baba looked over and pointed to that place on the bluff. And Darwin said, "Baba, you're reminding me how I used to come there and think of you." And Baba, he said, Bob just kind of went like this, just kind of a little bland, you know. But that was an acknowledgement that these little moments when we think we remember Baba, and we kind of feel that Baba's there with us, he really is, and not to diminish that, or get too truth conscious about it, That was the. So Priya, did you come up with anything?
Yes, I have this one thing. Yesterday, somebody had on one of the WhatsApp groups, someone had posted the song of the new life, and I wanted to request you if you could just further elaborate on this one line. The first verse goes, "Listen to the silent words of Meher Baba. The life story of all lovers is based on the practice of these words. If you're serious about living this new life, then wholeheartedly renounce this ephemeral existence." I was hoping if you could just help elaborate, help understand, so that the meaning of this line sinks in.
Well, unfortunately, we are like a cloud that's blocking the sun of our true self. So Priya has to go, and then the sun of who you are breaks out in full glory. So we do have to renounce our ephemeral existence. Over time, Baba takes care of that, where you move out of being Priya and you vacate Priya, and Baba fills you completely. But you know, as long as he needs plenty of space. You know, so a lot of it is throwing out all the stuff from the attic and the basement, get all the garbage out of there, and he will be there. He will fill you. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does.
Empty the,
I mean,
empty
I
the boat.
remember.
You get hollowed out through love. You get hollowed out, and ultimately happily, you get hollowed out, because then love becomes the doer. Baba in you becomes the doer, and then you don't have the responsibility of making all the decisions. I don't know if that
hear
makes
you.
Huh?
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
Except this ego, this
Yeah.
identity is very, very strong.
Yeah.
It's been the only reality up until now, you know, until it hit that God is the only reality. So
No.
Yeah. Well, I just a simple, just 2-3 words I would like to say. Sentence. Gar जीना तुम्हें है नई जिंदगानी तो दुनिया से. One has to turn his face from the world, and if new life you have to live, and it is not that you leave the world, but just be in the world and be detached life. We detached life. So that's a new life. Ghar jeena tumhe hai new zindagi.
Yeah. I'll read. I'm going to see. I got to see if I can find.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can find a quote for you. Oh, I don't think I've got it with me. But the idea is that if you try to go after the ego, this one of the Sufis write, is the ego is like a thief that breaks into your house in the middle of the night, and to steal everything that's valuable and important. But if you show up with a gun, the ego will have a gun. If you have a knife, the ego will have a knife. Whatever you bring to fight the ego, it will have an equal weapon. So what can you do? What you do is you turn on the light, and the thief, who's a coward at heart, will flee the place. And what is turning on the light? Remembering God, being loving. that in other words, I haven't felt, I'm just talking about my own experience, fighting the ego it's better just to emphasize love and not try to take on and tackle the ego. You know what I mean? Just if you have a choice between fighting the ego and trying to love, try to love. That's kind of what I gathered. You know, we all, I mean, it gets in the way, you know, but it's like a Doberman pincer. You don't want to wake it up when it's sleeping. Let it sleep on the front steps.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Janet, are you there? Janet Jacobs.
Yes, I am, Jeff. I'm here.
Do you have any questions or any stories, anything to share that comes to mind?
Nothing's coming to mind. I'm just enjoying the Doberman picture. I'm going to remember that one. Yeah. And yeah, I missed the first part about the window, so I don't exactly know what you were talking about. But
yeah,
anyway.
That'll come up again sometime.
Okay.
Yeah.
But thanks for asking, Jeff. Jay
Yeah.
Baba, everybody.
Yeah.
I have something else to share. This is along the same lines of Baba talking about his disciples. And this is also from Lord Mayhair. It says, Baba explained that not all his Mandali or disciples were alike. There are three types of disciples: those who help, those who are a burden, and those who are a hindrance. Those who lift me up and carry me are the best helpers. The ones who may not be able to lift me up, but who give me their companionship, assist my work well, and also render much help. But the person who is unable to lift me up and is stubborn, refusing to allow me to lift him, is a burden and obstacle. A burden and obstructs me in my work. The obstructionist is the man who does not allow me to lift him up and who does not give me his companionship, but on the contrary, pulls my hands from behind, thus obstructing my work by fighting with me, even when I try to lift him. And I personally, I love the depiction of, you know, if you can't lift Baba up, that's okay. Allow him to lift you up, and not to fight. And for me, in a practical sense, I'm aware of you know, my obstruction to allowing Baba to lift me up from just my age-old habit of feeling unworthy of his love. But then, like, I won't allow myself to then receive his attention or receive his love consciously, at least awareness, kind of push it away or try to fight it off. And that would be, I think of as me not allowing Baba to lift me up in this context.
Yeah. I had an interesting quote, if I can find it. From Kabir. I don't know, it's from Mani. Huh. I'll try. This is Mani. It might respond to what you said. This is the season, the avataric springtime, when the fruits are not only on the trees, but overflowing on the ground. Pick them up. It won't always be like this. Don't worry whether it is all right for me to pick up that fruit. Take it. His bounty is boundless. It is our limitedness, our littleness, which prevents us from carrying more. That's why Kabir says that such a season is there. Such a season is there for the looting. That bounty of his name, take it, love it, don't hesitate. Don't look the other way. Loot all that you can.
Yeah.
I mean, the handwriting, I can't read too well, but do you follow that? I'll read it again. This is the season, the avataric springtime, when the fruits are not only on the trees, but overflowing on the ground. Pick them up. It won't always be like this.
Yeah.
Don't worry whether it is all right for me to pick up that fruit. Take it. His bounty is boundless. It is our limitedness, our littleness, which prevents us from carrying more. That's why Kabir says that such a season is there for looting. That bounty of his name, take it, loot it, don't hesitate. Don't look the other way, loot all you can. So like, don't worry about whether you, I mean, even Monty said, worthy schmurthy, you know. Throw that out.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Go.
Don't put that burden on yourself to get up to a certain level before you. It's a come as you are party. You don't have to be all kind of spiffed up before you go and get your loot.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good. That's a very good. I think it's a very good reflection. Really good.
And that's directly from Mani. There for the looting. Hey, we got Mayor Prasad as. Yep. He just finished dinner at Ivers and now he's, got home. Yeah. Well, we're, Mayor Prasad, have you got anything that occurs to you?
No, I just, like you said, I just finished my dinner and just finished my work and thought I'll just join in and listen.
Yeah. Anything that pops into your head, don't hesitate to chime in.
Yeah, I was thinking of the of Western culture and the Western culture's work ethic in relationship to what you were sharing, Jeff, about building yourself up to a certain quality before you might let yourself feel worthy or feel like you belong and whatnot. And I think about the Western work ethic is so much about working and producing and developing to a certain extent before you can be considered to be worthy in terms of production or value or what you contribute, rather than recognizing that who we are, who I am as an individual is valuable enough as it is.
Yeah. Yeah, those who really love you don't care so much about your achievements. Just they like Jake.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing. But it's in the air we breathe. Growing up, you pick that up. You're not enough. If you're not enough in the world, how could you be enough with Baba? I mean, that's the equation, the crazy equation.
Yeah, it's true. It's very, very true.
And Baba, likes us as we are. Baba likes us as we are, but he also inspires us to go deeper. He can take us where we are, but he keeps at it so we discover the deeper part of ourselves. and live from there.
Mhm.
So it's not just a kind of static relationship.
Yeah, what I like about that, I was just picturing, feeling really how, the come as you are perspective of Baba, fully accepting us as we are, no need to change, is complementary then to the also inviting us to go, or inspiring us to go deeper
Yeah.
in ourselves. And because at first it sounds contradictory, but I think it's complementary. I could feel it being complementary in that then that's what allows Baba to always be with you. Like you are always worthy just as you are, even
Yeah.
as you are changing and going deeper at the same time. Both levels are true. And I really
Yeah.
like that. It's like I could really feel Baba fully with me under both of those conditions, rather than it being Baba being with me conditional on either one of those things, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Yeah, and I mean, Darwin stresses it. Baba doesn't just spot check us. Every once in a while he goes around to the Latins and checks in with them, and then he goes to other people. He is continuously, personally with everyone. I don't know how he does it, but but he does. I mean, he's personally, continuously with us. It's not like he's just spot checking Jake every once in a while. I wonder how Jake's doing. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Infinite
Huh?
consciousness kind of helps with that experience, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's good though, because that helps remind me that it's like, there's no downtime, really. It's like any moment, every moment that I'm willing to be aware of my connection with Baba, the connection is there. Even when
Yeah.
I'm not aware, even when I'm not willing or capable of being aware, it's there
Yeah.
regardless. That's a good reminder, good reflection.
Nashawin Nalavala, his he lived up in Dehradun, and Baba was up there. I think it was before the New Life, and he had never met Baba, and and he was wondering if Baba would contact him. Might have been during the New Life, but he was, he knew Baba was in Dehradun, but he, I think it must have been the New Life, because he wasn't allowed to contact Baba. And time went by, and Baba was there for a while. And one day, he and maybe a colleague in business, they got to drinking, and they were actually quite drunk. And suddenly, word comes that Baba wants to see them. I mean, of all the times. And and so he kind of staggered out and made his way to where Baba was. But he said by the time he got there, he had sobered up. But there he was. Baba picked the moment, the moment when he wouldn't have wanted to see his beloved, when he was intoxicated.
That was no spot check.
Yeah. But that was his first meeting with Baba. But luckily, I like to say, he sobered up. I mean, the whatever the intensity of meeting your beloved kind of dissolved the drunkenness. Yeah.
Was that Naushar one, or is it Dad Keki?
Yeah, Keki. That's his
Keki,
father.
right? Yeah. And he along with Desai, actually. I mean,
Yeah,
they both
yeah.
they were hunting down for a place, and then they said, well, it's so hot outside, let's have a beer each. And yeah, that's the story.
And I think they got carried away a little bit. I heard him relate this. I thought it was hard liquor, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, I think it's recorded even in Lord Mayor somewhere. I mean,
Yeah. 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 Vijay is lucky that Bob is not, knocking on his door right this moment, because he's been going back and forth to his liquor cabinet
Yeah, tea is like a liquor cabinet for me.
No, it's
Interesting. So, mm,
yeah.
so just this time of the year, you are all usually in India. So it's like October end, and like I know you arrive around October 20th. So it's the time of year when you are in India now, and you are that now third week of November. So this is the time of the year when
Yeah.
you're in Maraba.
Yeah, this is first time in 50 years or more that I haven't been to India during this time. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Dinku, any
something.
go ahead, yeah?
I was just gonna say, wow, that's really something, you know, to have that break in that experience. You know, I do you have the feeling and longing to be in India? Is
Yeah,
this
I'm having flashes of memory of being even on the streets of Pune and at Mirabad but what can I do? It's great to just leave this Western Hemisphere behind for a while. It's good for the soul.
No, but if I may ask Jeff or anybody, basically, what do you think of what's happening right now? And Baba is trying, not trying, Baba is asking us to keep away from all these places, not necessarily Samadhi, but for all the other Baba lovers, their places of worship. What do you make of this? I mean, I'm sure you thought about this, and then a lot of people have thought about this one. You have any special thoughts on this particular thing that's happening
Well,
these
you know, the
days?
one thing that that's obvious is that that a lot of the people who would just come to the center maybe once a year, this was their time to be with other Baba people. Some many of them, they didn't have anybody in their city or town devoted to Baba to share their life with. As a result of the pandemic, people are able to get together like every day if they want, every week, you know, and share their inner lives with Baba and struggles and the 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 way Baba relates to them, all that they haven't normally had the opportunity to share. So that's been a great boon for this.
What I, yeah, what I can share is that what I feel is that recently, I mean, Baba lovers, and this is my observation, have got into a kind of external mode, like attending programs and all that. So it's like everybody focus on Amar Siddhi, everybody focus on Baba's birthday and event after event, and it's more of group gatherings and all. This kind of broke those chain, and now like it's somewhere pushing people inside to like to the Baba within, somewhere at a little level that has happened where that they could go inside and think of Baba within, which wasn't happening with the kind of life each one were in. So it's kind of given the life to seek Baba within us and to take that thing more seriously of seeking him within us.
Yeah.
So that kind of transformation has happened, and it happened to every person at some level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Baba, Baba said that external contacts are made to establish internal contact. So, and in 54, 55, when the people, lovers came for the Saivas and they were living in the train, and Baba said, waved to the train and said, take me home with you. And so this is a time for the internal. I mean, he has turned the world. He stopped the external world activity, and we are turning inside. We are more focused on our internal life with Baba. So that's what more important, and that's what happening. Yeah, that I feel strongly.
True.
Yeah, Ganesh could probably find that very quote. It's like October 6, 1954, something like that.
Internal link, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
I
can
can, I
get
can read that.
the first
Read
Jeff,
that now.
paragraph. Yeah.
it's for me, it's a boon in this pandemic because I'm spending more time with Baba rather than in Maya. Because
Yeah.
most of the time in other days we'll be materialistically and most of thing is worldly affairs. We concentrate morely affairs.
Yeah.
This has brought me more nearer to Baba, and and also to feel. Sometimes I experience that, oh, I'm facing this in the what we call in seclusion. So when I'm unable to concentrate one day for the seclusion, and how Baba has spent for many days and many years in the seclusion. I'm learning so much from this. That's what my feeling is that.
Yeah. Yeah. Many people
So I
are
have the
echoing
message.
the same thing.
Yeah, I can read out that message.
Yeah. Read. Yeah. Go ahead and read it.
Last message on the alphabet board, 7th October.
ఆయన పోయింది దాంట్లో పోయండి
American,
అనిల్
I think
టీటీ కొంచెం
Matt,
అలా
you should
కాదు
be on
అలా
mute.
కాదు
Okay.
Try again, Ganesh.
Last message on the alphabet board, 7th October 1954. There is no reason at all for any of you to worry. Baba was, Baba is, and Baba will always be eternally existent. Severance of external relations does not mean the termination of internal connections. It was only for establishing the internal connections that the external contacts have been maintained till now. The time has now come for being bound in the chain of internal connections. Hence, external contact is no longer necessary. It is possible to establish the internal link by obeying Baba's orders. I give you all my blessings for strengthening these internal links. I'm always with you and I'm not away from you. I was, am, and will remain eternally with you. And it is for promoting this realization that I've severed external contact. This will enable all persons to realize truth by being bound to each other with internal links. Oh, my lovers, I love you all. It is only because of my love for my creation that I have descended on earth. Let not your hearts be torn asunder by my declarations concerning the dropping of my body. On the contrary, accept my divine will cheerfully. You can never escape from me. Even if you try to escape from me, it is not possible to get rid of me. Therefore, have courage and be brave. If you thus lose your heart, how will it be possible for you to fulfill the great task which I have entrusted to you? Be brave and spread my message of love far and wide to all quarters in order to fulfill my divine will. Let the words Baba, Baba come forth from every nook and corner of the world and from the mouth of every child, and let their ignorance be reduced to ashes by the burning flame of my love. Come together in order to fulfill my will by taking your stand on truth, love, and honesty, and be worthy of participating in my task. I give you all my blessings for spreading my message of love. Avtar Mehr Baba.
Beautiful. Yeah. And being held together by internal links with each other, and besides Baba, with each other.
Yeah, because there is this one sentence. This will enable all persons to realize truth by being bound to each other with internal links. So there is this one sentence.
Yeah. Dinku, what do you think?
Well, I think in a way this pandemic has been a blessing. It's a way of, Baba has brought all of us together. We would never have met probably. And, to talk about him, to share, to discuss. It's kind of brought everyone closer together. I mean, I never knew any of you. You guys never knew any of us, a lot of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even when we were at Mehrabad, I mean, I've always noticed that, you know, people would sort of stick to their own little groups. Now it's different. He's brought all his lovers, well, all of those who are here on Zoom, together.
Yeah.
And brought, you know, sort of made it a closer Baba community than it would have been in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well
agree
said.
with
I agree with you entirely.
I
Yeah.
like the idea. I like the perspective specifically you brought up, Tinku, of, you know, the Baba community drawing together more closely as a whole. I really like that picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how I feel. And I mean, it's, for me, it's a very uplifting experience.
Yeah. And until we all move into your apartment.
You're most welcome.
We'll be there.
Sure, sure.
I'll
if you
walk
don't
the
mind,
dog.
if you don't mind roughing it out a bit.
Yeah. We can always go over to Priya's place too, you know.
Beautifully. And I think we need a Sanford and Go as well.
But it's beautiful because we're all really one family in Baba. And
right.
It's an open-ended family. People only exclude themselves because there's nothing excluding anybody. But people, you know, they think, well, this is just a cult, these crazy people, you know, and they keep away. But they would be welcome, you know. Yeah.
Prakash, are you coming to Bombay?
No, actually, the flight's been diverted to Delhi, actually.
Oh.
And
Prakash, when
yeah,
are you flying?
November 2nd.
November 2nd. Okay.
Yeah.
You'll be going to Hyderabad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. When?
Just
And then
before the
to,
election.
and then you will be in Mehrabad. You are visiting Mehrabad anytime?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm there till March, so I'm sure I'll be there.
March
Yeah.
time. So Hyderabad has seen a lot of rains, lot of
Oh, God.
changes.
Yeah.
So it's,
You know, I don't know if it is appropriate, but I just thought I'll share something I experienced. You know, I mean, recently I had that, you know, car crash and all, and I thought I was gone. Not only me, the three of us, I mean, additionally 3 of us with me. And I found out the timing was such that when I went through that, we all went through that, and almost gone, but Baba actually helped us take his name, and then we were saved. And right at the same time, the rains were, you know, just about that hour, that couple of hours around that, the rains were so heavy in Hyderabad. Everybody was going through, I mean, such a lot of pain. And when I was thinking about these 2 events, I somehow thought Baba is helping me to take some pain, share some pain that people are experiencing back home.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought like that, but it just
In,
flashed in
in,
my
in,
mind.
in fact, Prakash, I feel that Baba has given you new life. And same time, Hyderabad had a heavy rains for 111 years. It was in 1908
Yeah.
and 9. It's a heavy rain. And afterwards, after 111 years, Hyderabad have a heavy rain, especially in the areas like wherever they occupied the lands and nalas and those things were badly affected by these floods, especially like Toli Choke and all. And even so many cars were totally submerged in the waters. Lot of problems we faced with electricity and all that.
Yeah.
In fact, we did that for 36 hours, no current in our house.
Mm. No, I mean, somehow I felt that maybe Baba is helping me take a bit of pain that I can in the
Yeah.
process. So,
Nature has.
Yeah, we are we are available.
Yeah.
You know, Mansari used to say, Baba told her, if one of my lovers is in a city, that city is protected. Just one of my lovers in a city, that city is protected. Now you may just be, living your regular life and everything, but what I assume is Baba at any time could elbow you aside and do something through you. And that's potentially there.
So Mehchan has a job to do.
Pardon?
So Mehchan has an important responsibility now.
Yeah.
No, not at all. I'm an ordinary small human creature.
Hyderabad.
Just
something
make sure
happens
he
to
doesn't do
Hyderabad.
any drinking there.
No, Hyderabad, because we are all musts. No, Hyderabad is known for must. So we are all must. That's what I feel. Even this time, even people were in Ahmedabad, people were telling me that they were all the time every season they used to pray, Baba, give us rain, rain, rain. Now this season they said, Baba, enough rain, please no rains. That's what they were telling me, in fact.
But I think this is another. I think this is another, uh, side effect, you could say, of the pandemic, where for Mehrabad especially, where the rains were able to sort of renew the land. The ground was able to take in a lot more water. There was more greenery. Everything was like a new life over there, instead of the barren place that it used to be, with too many people around.
Yeah, you can have a bath every day now, I guess.
And there's nobody to take a bath.
There's a little lake that has formed. There's a little lake that has formed between the stone condos and MPR. As you go from stone condos towards MPR, on the right side you can see a little lake, and that's really beautiful. And you have this one Baba lover who brought this inflated boat from Amazon, and he's even rowing around in that lake. So,
Oh, how lovely!
Yeah.
Mm.
Hey,
Is it-
Priya, I've got another thing, another story about the ego. It's by Rumi. I think it's Rumi, yeah. A dragon hunter went to the mountains to trap a dragon. He searched everywhere and finally discovered the frozen body of a great dragon buried in snow high up on one of the tallest peaks. The man dragged the body to Baghdad and exhibited it on the bank of a river, claiming he had slain it single-handedly. Hundreds of people came to see the dragon, but as the Baghdad sun gradually warmed the body, the dragon began to stir, slowly coming out of its winter hibernation. The people screamed and stampeded, and many were killed, including the dragon hunter, who was devoured in a single gulp. The dragon is your ego nature, which is not dead. It is merely frozen. Don't let it out in the sun of Baghdad. Keep your dragon dormant in the snow of self-discipline. I just thought that was good. I like it. Very graphic.
It's true, like Baba says, it's a million-headed cobra, so it can bite us in every way.
Yeah. Next time, maybe next time, I probably don't have time, but there's one of the practices that I've done my whole life with Baba, which I I gathered from Darwin and Erich. And I've spoken about it before, but sometime I'll tell you about that because I find it's one of the intimate practices of my inner life, and it might it it might be something that would work for you.
Please, can you tell it now? Because it just makes us very curious. And it's like we don't have to 5 days of plus nights. We don't want to spend till next Sunday night. So that would be like five nights in between.
Well, then you have to ask me questions about it next time. No, well, I'll describe it this way. Darwin used to say there's an invisible current in all of us. And that invisible current in most people is going this way, toward I, me, and mine. That current needs to be reversed and flow out to the world and flow into Baba. Now that current, to be aware of that current, it's in the heart area. And if you focus there, I mean, Erich was big on this. If you focus there, is your heart flowing? Is it stalled? Is it receding? Awareness has to be there, to be aware. How is that into your internal being? Is it just kind of stalled? Now, I'll give you an example. Like suppose you're there in a very flowing sort of state. You're kind of naturally flowing. And then someone comes into your apartment with a gun. Or somebody comes into your apartment that you had a very painful history with. Suddenly, that current you'll experience that current stopping. So that you know previous to that there was a current that was flowing because now suddenly something has stopped. And when it does stop, that's when the work begins. You have to work until that you get that current flowing again, and especially flowing toward that person. Because if you don't flow toward that person, this is at an inner level, it's not an external level. At an inner level, anyone you don't flow out to, you diminish yourself by that much. You make yourself smaller. If you don't like kids, then you cut off the child in yourself. If you don't like employers, Ganesh, no. If you don't like employers, you diminish yourself. I mean, that doesn't mean that you don't keep a distance, but that flowing should be there. So I'll give you just an example. Does that make any sense so far? It's becoming aware of your whether you're, and you can tell, you can get pretty sensitive to whether you're flowing or you're stalled. Now, for example, when I wake up, and I wake up real early, and I will be like very groggy when I first wake up. I mean, I start immediately with Baba's name. I mean, when I wake up, basically you wake up in your sanskaras, and I am stalled out when I first wake up. So I have to begin, I do it with Baba's name and centering in Baba and getting a flow going. In fact, I try to get from the forest of my sanskaras over to Baba's ocean so that I can start my day from Baba's presence and not start my day from my sanskaras, from my conditioning. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you really work. I mean, for me, of course, Baba's name, but it doesn't have to be Baba's name. It could be music. It could be the prayers, and I do this while I'm doing my morning routine, in and behind my routine, so that I get a flow going, so that the heaviness that I woke up with, the grogginess I woke up, gets transmuted into a living substance that flows, so that 8:30 when I go into work, that transmuted state is what fuels my day, rather than the grogginess that I woke up with. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what happens, so sometimes that work that I do in the early morning will work until maybe the afternoon and I start to stall out. And when I stall out, I have to get proactive about doing something within. I mean, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be it can be, you could play volleyball and get that flow going, or you could listen to music or read Baba's material, play with some kids, whatever gets that flow going. But because here's how I describe it: when the flow is not happening in me, um, it feels like Baba is at a distance, and when that flow isn't happening, I don't quite know what to do. My mind comes down and gives me some options and everything, none of which is worth following. And life suddenly becomes just ordinary. But if, say, I work at that flow and get that flow going, if, say, it's a volleyball game or connecting with people, or that when that flow goes, I don't, Baba is the flow. Baba is in the flow. And I don't have to say what should I do, because the flow leads to the next thing to do. And then the day, instead of just being ordinary, it suddenly has a certain kind of sparkle or luster to it. You know, it's got a little carbonation. It's not like a beer that's been sitting on the on the windowsill overnight with some cigarette butts in it, you know. Flat. No. But that flow. Does that make any sense? I mean, I have to live by this. I mean, I don't start my day until I feel I've got a strong enough flow so that the day doesn't pull me down.
Mm. It's a beautiful dedication that you have in your relationship with Baba. You know, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, Darwin encouraged that, and so did Erich.
Mm.
And it's at the heart level.
Yeah.
It's not up in the head, but it's down in the heart.
It's like I can feel this as you're determined to be his. You know, I think that's a beautiful determination to have. You're determined to be his.
Yeah, I mean, I do it because if I don't do it, then my day is kind of just a carbon copy. You know, it just doesn't have the spirit and liveliness to it. So at various junctures in the day, I have to get proactive and getting things moving again. A lot of people think, well, if I got to do, they're bored, so they got to, I got to do this, or should I do this and that? Sometimes boredom is just the fact that internal current is just stalled out. By working directly on the current, you can get rid of the boredom rather than trying to find something, external to relieve you of your boredom. Does that make sense?
So, yeah, Jeff, couple of questions on that.
Yeah.
One, which I'm trying to still understand, like you said about this, somebody comes in the room and suddenly your current gets stopped because of this person's presence. Then how do you still keep it going? Because it does happen where you meet some person and it's kind of a very different experience where you are just not being your own loving self, and it's like you really have to deal with this person. So how do you get your current back in those situations?
Yeah. Well, like I say, when you get down in that area, you learn certain things that can get it moving. But for me, Baba's name, sometimes I have to do that, or go to the divine qualities that might see them as Baba in disguise, or think of them in a more loving light than the way I'm just superficially perceive them. I mean, there's a whole lot of internal things that you do, but being aware of that internal that internal area and not let it stagnate is, I take it in my own life as my responsibility with Baba to do not just let it just stagnate and, you know. So it's a, like I say, it's a proactive approach.
Requires a lot of patience, Fred and Jeff.
What's that?
It requires a lot of patience because you can see, I mean, somebody who doesn't just comfortably, you're not comfortable with repeatedly coming in front of you, I mean, and with the same attitude and same kind of behavior. And then you're faced with the same situation almost pretty often, actually. And so, I mean, it requires a whole lot of patience. I mean, so much patience, I can't even believe.
It boils down to kind of forgiveness as well, doesn't it? Depending on what your relationship was with that person.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes it's difficult to overcome whatever that person has done to you.
Yeah.
But then that brings me back to what you had said earlier, that maybe this is something that you had done to that person in a previous life or whatever. So you look at it from that point of view, and then it's easier to overcome.
Not only that, you've done it in the past, but you did it in the past, but you didn't ask Baba for forgiveness for having done it.
Yeah.
Ask him for forgiveness and then see if it diminishes that complex.
There's also one situation where your current keeps flowing, and there are some people who are like I mean, there is no response from them, and it's like you are warm towards them, and they're certainly like not even responding, and that's the time again, and that's it.
Yeah, this is done from your side. It's not with any strings attached. No expectation on the other at the other end.
Expectation.
No dependence, I guess.
Yeah. And actually, if you don't have expectations, people in time may warm to you. Although there's some people that are just kind of indifferent. It's hard to kind of dissolve the shell. Now, Mayor Prasad, he's been over there just sitting there, you know, he hasn't.
Well, I remember your answer. I asked a similar question about 2-3 months back, maybe 3 months back.
Mm-hmm.
I remember your answer, and that has worked very well for me, which is when you feel that current blocked with another person, look beyond their lower self, and look at their higher self, and that seems to work well for me.
Yeah. All those internal things. Oh, see you, Lenita. You heading? Yeah, we're getting there toward, oh, wow, 12 o'clock. Yeah. But I tell you, it's been invaluable for me working at that level. See you, Lenita. Yeah. And, like I say, that's what I gathered from them, and it's been one of my ongoing practices. Yeah. And
sometimes just being aware of it itself clears the block.
Yeah. Yeah, to bring the awareness down there. In fact, Eric said, you're blessed to be doing that. And it gets you out of your head because you can't think about that. You bring your awareness down to be aware of that, but the mind is upstairs, so to speak, and this takes place in the area of the heart. Yeah.
Yeah, like there are a couple of people who I don't know. I'm finding it. I've been struggling to let go of what they've done, but I'm finding it very, very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. And very important to clear it up for your own happiness. You know, any by hook or crook, any way you can clear it up. That you don't. The beautiful thing about this is that you don't have to clear it up with the person externally. You can be doing this internally and clear it up without having to possibly stir up another mess with that person. You know what I mean? Or lock horns with that person. You can do this, like I say, at an unseen level, and you can free yourself up from them, even if their attitude or their behavior, their attitude stays the same toward you. Your attitude toward them has changed. I don't know if that.
That makes sense. Yes. Yes, that makes
Well,
a
I
lot of
just,
sense.
yeah, but like, but it's one particular person. I just sort of, stay out of their way because I feel
Yeah.
that's the only way I can deal with it.
Yeah, what you do externally, you have to be practical on the external level. But internally, you want to be, just free to flow toward them. But at the same time, you might choose to keep a physical distance.
You know what I noticed, Jeff, is
Yeah.
that it'll happen, that the flow will go and I'll feel free for a while, and then something will happen and I'll get triggered back into the close down. And it's not like, for me, it's not a one-shot deal.
Yeah.
It comes and goes, and I have to keep working with it, or keep asking Baba to help me work with it.
Yeah. And that they are forcing you to remember Baba. I mean, you can take it that way. I'll give you an instance. This is kind of interesting. There was a guy, Joel Mednick. One of his sons lives at Maribad there, and but his kids grew up here, and his kids had a lot of friends, even among the black community. And he had this big van, and he was driving on Highway 17, and one of the black friends of his sons kind of hailed him down, and they were sitting there talking on the side of the road with the van. Now the police thought, this is a drug deal that's going on, and so they went over and they slammed him against the van, and they searched the whole they searched the whole van and hurt him actually, and they found nothing, and he was enraged at this, and so and they even were bringing him to court, and he was like innocent, but anyway, so eventually he went to India, and he was still infuriated with this thing that happened. And on one of his trips from the old pilgrim center up to the tomb, he put it to Baba, Baba, you have to tell me why this happened. Why did this happen? Why, I was innocent, and now I got this big problem. You have to tell me. And I mean, so he went up to the tomb, and he went in the tomb, still thinking about these two policemen who had treated him so roughly. When he was in the tomb, Baba brought this home to him. What has happened is these two policemen are being remembered in the tomb of the Avatar, and he got it. Wow, that's how they hit him up so they would be remembered in the tomb of the Avatar. And when that occurred to him, he was fine with the whole thing. So, so sometimes, you know, it was kind of neat.
That's amazing.
And he was completely, I mean, it was so complete that he had never had a problem with that again. But a lot of these people that irritate us are, you know, are benefactors because they make us, they force us to think of Baba when we could just be sitting there complacently watching Netflix or something by the hour.
True. That's very true, because over the years when we look back, they shake us to a deeper level, which wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. I mean, no one likes it. I mean, I you know, but that's one of the ways that Baba gets us to remember him. You know.
Beautiful. It's really profound what you
Yeah,
shared.
when
I think
Anita
you
kind
should
of
write
burned
it and
when Anita burned VJ's eggs in the morning, his omelet, that really gets a rise out of him, and he starts thinking about Baba big time. That'll get him even saying his prayers.
here is Dinesh comment for you.
Yeah.
Hello.
So he's in chat saying that once you said Jeff, you can love the one even if you don't like him.
Yeah. Yeah. We actually do love each other. And I would say Baba lovers love everybody, but they don't necessarily like everybody. They love everybody in the sense that you would make efforts for their spiritual well-being. Or if they were in a situation of great need, you would help them out. That's the real love. Now, whether you like them is a different matter. There was, I mean, you know, I think there's one story I can tell you, and then we better close down for the evening. But I've mentioned this before. There was a woman in who was in charge of one of the Baba centers in India. I mean, in America, called Meher Mount, and her name was Agnes Barron. Agnes Barron was a feisty person, very opinionated, and a little bit abrasive, but she had a heart of gold. She, you know, really, she'd give you the shirt off her back, but she was, you know, a difficult personality to some. And when Baba went there in 1956, she, when she was driving Baba from Mount down to LA where Baba was staying, she said to Baba, Baba, some people just don't like me. She says that to Baba. She's driving the car. And Baba says, but I like you. So that kind of settled that. But then when she got to LA, she got into an altercation with Ivy Deuce, who was the head of the Sufism Reoriented. And, you know, she had problems with Ivy Deuce. And later on, when she was with Baba, alone, Ivy wasn't there, she said, Baba, you say we should love everyone, but I don't love everyone. What are you going to do about that? She even challenges Baba. And Baba said, Agnes, you love everybody, you just don't like everybody. And Agnes says, well, I can live with that.
Live with that.
So sometimes you have to you have to serve people that you don't necessarily like, but you have to serve them lovingly, even if you don't care for them. You know, because they are, you know, Baba in disguise. What can you do?
True, and that's so true. But practically, it's a very, very big. It's very, very
I mean, yeah, I mean, I
big
think as
task.
Baba people, we've been around the block enough times to know that we really would make an effort to love everybody, even if we don't like them. We wouldn't leave them hungry, or injured on the side of the road without trying to get them to the hospital. We wouldn't deny them a Baba book if they asked for it. You know what I mean? So how we feel is just kind of my conditioning rubbing up against their conditioning. But essence to essence, we're fine. That's that line I quote again and again where Baba says, all differences between one another are merely superficial and cannot affect the love we feel for each other deep down. So we already love each other. That's anyway. Okay. Well, let's see.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Let me say, yeah. I think, so Dinku, what can you do about that person,
Still working on it.
We all have those people, believe me. You're not alone in that. Yep.
It's just these, I've been able to get over and, look past quite a few others.
Yeah.
But it's these two, one's already passed on.
Yeah.
A relative.
Yeah.
And the other one is around, but I haven't had contact with them. But sometimes, when the kind of pops up into your head about the good times we all had together and then the way they behaved and, that's kind of hard to get over.
Yeah. Yeah, but whether they're physically present or not, they're still here. Their heart is still here. Their heart is still here, so whatever you would like to say to them is received by their heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I've found.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can make amends because they're right there. And you can say, I'm sorry, I treated you that way. and they receive that. I mean, yeah, that's the beautiful thing about love. Hey, so, well, I guess we better, Dinesh, we'll see you. Nasreen?
Yes.
We're going to, I guess we
Yeah,
could
again, you
say,
should write about the inner current which you just shared and keep it. It's really so profound and beautiful. I mean, it really will help me once you can write it and save it.
Uh-huh. What was that? You mean
Can I say something?
The inner current which you explained today.
Oh, yeah. I have written up some of that. Maybe if I get it together, I'll send it to you. Hey, so let's have one person say Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai.
Before you go, Jeff, one thing I just recently for Dasra, my friend sent me a message. In that, it reminds me where the message says, love all, but trust very few. Love all, but trust few. So you can love everyone, but you can also have a trust on very few.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's have one person say Avatar Meher Baba because otherwise it's just kind of crazy.
Avatar Meher
Baba ki jai.
Avatar Meher
Meher
Baba
Baba ki jai.
Avatar
Meher Baba ki jai.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, everyone.
Guys.
Jai Baba.
Have a good night.
Meher Baba, Jeff.
Yep. Hey, Baba. Yep.
Hey, Baba, everybody.
Meher Chand, all of you.
Meher Baba.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baba.
Keep the faith, as they say, back in the hippie era.
Yeah.